Alright guys, I recently had a guitar come in my shop that needed some new cavity covers, some new plates on the back, and the originals were made out of plastic, so that's what we're going to make the replacements out of. And this is something you can do with any guitar you have that's missing a cavity plate. I know for me it happens all the time. So we use a piece of 1/16 inch ABS plastic. First thing we need to do is make a template. The way we're doing that is using some masking tape, or in this case, green painter's tape. We're going to lay that over the cavity cover. We're going to put some vertical strips as well. That way it all holds together, because we're going to have to peel this out as one big piece. I would definitely recommend masking tape on your instrument over duct tape. I've cleaned off a lot of duct tape residue in my day. It's not fun. So pushing down on the edges so that we can see where the edge of the cavity is, I'm using an X-Acto knife to carefully trace along that edge. Now it's the inside edge, and I'm hovering over the body, so I'm making sure I'm not touching and dragging that blade across any paint. You can also just do this with a marker and then peel all of the tape off and cut it out on something else if you're more comfortable doing it that way. So once you get it all cut, it should all peel out. Just like that. And then I'm going to lay it down on my piece of ABS plastic. Now this plastic is a 12 by 24 inch piece that I bought for $8, and I can get 4 sets of these back plates out of one piece of plastic. So basically for $2 versus $30 to buy them new. Well, not new. You have to find them used. You can't really get a hold of them new in most cases. So doing the same thing with the other cavity cover as well, making a template. And you can see how I've got it laid out here. So the next step is we're going to start splitting the plastic. So basically run a line with the X-Acto knife straight down so that we can fold it and then make it split. And that is predominantly how we're going to shape these. That's what's great about this stuff. If you saw my kung fu move, that was because there was a mosquito in my face. So now, using a straight edge lined up with the template, I'm going to score the ABS plastic. And what you want to do is be very careful to make sure your knife rides in the same score mark each time so it gets a little deeper. Using the straight edge will help you to get that fold, that first fold, and then you can fold the whole thing and snap it off. Now when you're doing short size like this is only about 1/4 inch, it helps to have a vise or something to grip that little piece with that you want to break off. You can use pliers if you're careful. We're just going to repeat the process of scoring and snapping for the smaller template as well. Now doing the curve, which is a more complex part, just follow your template really carefully and press hard, but go slow, because you don't want to accidentally ride over your template and then ruin your piece. And then you can just work the edge like I'm doing here and snap it off as well. And this is 40 grit sandpaper, so I would recommend using 60 or 80 to shape these curves. If you watch my wrist, I'm doing a constant curve on these edges because we want to make sure we match the radius of the guitar. By radius, I just mean where the corner pieces meet. They're usually not sharp angles on these plastic pieces. They're usually soft. So that's what we're doing. We're just shaping that curve into the plastic. And using a finer grit sandpaper to do the finalizing touches on it, as well as any sort of width reduction. Say if it was a little bit too thick, you could sand it down just a little bit, and then it should fit. You see how I'm rolling out the edge there. So here we have another RG body, but they have the same cutout, so it fits, good to go. And the curved piece, you know, this funny shaped piece here is going to take a little bit longer to make sure everything matches. So just go a little bit at a time so you don't take too much off. And it'll finally fit. Once it does, you can give a real lame thumbs up to the camera. So the next step is we have to peel the templates off, but they have to stay in one piece. That's very important. So just work it off the plastic. There we go. And we're going to put it back over the cavity cover by itself without the plastic. The point of this is so we can find our screw holes with the X-Acto knife and cut those little tiny holes out. Now you don't have to do this. You can actually just drill new holes in your guitar if necessary, which would actually be a lot easier. But I try to use the holes that are there first before I have to get any kind of, that drastic with it. So lay the template back on the plastic. And using the X-Acto knife, I'm going to make some little starter holes so the drill bit doesn't wander. Because the next step is using an 1/8 inch drill bit, I'm going to go ahead and make our screw holes. Again, just be careful. Make sure that your drill doesn't walk all over the place and scratch up your new plastic. So we set it back in there to see if it matches the holes. It looks like they do, so that's excellent. That's what we're looking for. And then we have to do the same thing with the larger piece as well, of course. And I just drilled this with the tape still on it. Now using a larger drill bit, we're going to create our recesses for the screws. That's so the screws will be a little closer to flush, and it just looks better. The reason I do it by hand is so I don't power through my plastic and ruin it. And there we go. All the holes are done. All we have to do is put it on the guitar. It's always a satisfying feeling creating something and it working just right. I like to do these things by hand. I don't have a CNC machine or 3D printer. Those things would make it much easier. But this just shows to go you can do it yourself at home. I appreciate it, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to head over to our Bandcamp, you can donate a little bit to the channel if you feel so inclined. We would definitely appreciate it, and it all goes back toward the channel. Thanks for the support. I'll see you later.